It's the Breaking and Entering Show, live from South by Southwest, presented by Framer. Gino, how you feeling about South by Southwest?
It's good vibes here in Austin, Texas, Jack. I feel like with South by, it's like, I feel like a lot of the satellite events, stuff that's going outside of the main stages are really, really interesting. So many opportunities.
Yeah, I mean, it's just an easy way to get a bunch of people together and do a bunch of cool stuff. Like, who's going, I don't know, I'm not a panel guy myself. I don't know anyone that is.
Yeah, but also really cool stuff in Austin, like historic here in Arlen's studio specifically.
That's where we're at right now?
This is where we're at right now, in the halls where people like Willie Nelson have recorded in the studio. Sublime, Santeria, great album, recorded in this studio as well. And of course, the Breaking and Entering Show recorded in this studio.
The Breaking and Entering Show.
And that, I just want to give a special thanks to Collins for welcoming us. It's the Collins house here at South by Southwest at Arnold Studios. So thank you for having us.
Appreciate them for that. And we also are very appreciative of these bad boys. Framer believes in us. They believe in this content. They're supporting us. So this literally wouldn't be happening right now if it weren't for Framer. So very appreciative of that. I don't know if people get that sentimental during like an ad read portion, but it means a lot to us. So here's the gist on Framer. If your website updates still go through engineering, you're moving slower than you need to. Don't move slow. Framer lets marketing and design teams publish brand-ready pages directly from a design canvas with production-grade hosting, CMS, and performance built-in. Ship faster without the bottlenecks with Framer.
Shout out to Framer.
Shout out to Framer. We're talking with their co-founder, Jorn. He's from Amsterdam, and he gave me some dating advice as well.
Yeah, we went there.
We went there. So appreciate Framer. Go check them out. Give them a look if you work at an agency, if you build websites. Gino, we got some great guests. Why don't you introduce our first one?
The first guest is Sean McBride, CCO, that's Chief Creative Officer of Arnold Worldwide. And ladies and gentlemen, Arnold is a great creative shop based in Boston, and they've done amazing work. One example of this, Flo from Progressive, who's been in your homes talking to you all for 18 years. Sean has been a steward of that brand.
Yeah, so it'll be fun. We get into that. We talk about Flo. We talk about what it means. How does that even, the origin story of Flo and Progressive. So without further ado, I think we can bring him in.
Without further ado.
Sean McBride, CCO of Arnold Worldwide. Welcome to the show. Let's go.
Should I tell it to the camera?
Yeah.
What's up, everybody? I'm Sean McBride from Arnold. I don't have an album I'm recording here just yet, but stay tuned.
Well, you are a guitarist.
I'll put on a little show.
You got that in your bag?
Yeah, I mean, some guitar in my bag.
Okay.
It's a shallow bag, but there's a bag.
There's a bag. There's a bag. We'll save that for the end. This is like a good podcasting trick.
Nice.
People will stay for the whole interview to get to
the end to watch Sean McBride, the CCO of Arnold Worldwide, play the guitar.
Boom. Well, let's talk about it. You said this is your first time at South by Southwest.
It's true. Yeah, I know.
How you feeling about it?
I like Austin a lot. Sometimes you get the sense that when you come to cities for these things, like we descend upon it and ruin it.
Right.
What are some other examples of that?
I'm not gonna opine. But no, it's been awesome, man. To be honest, I just kind of got here. You guys are my first conversation, so I'm psyched for a panel later, and then I'm psyched to sort of dig in after that.
So is it a thing you're here for the panel? You're here. You got the thing you're going to talk about.
Yeah.
And that's what's bringing you into town.
I mean, I think that's safe to say, but I'm gonna try to take advantage while I'm here.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. When you get back to the agency, do you have to do a presentation of what you learned at South by Southwest?
Sometimes. I usually try to dole that out but yes, somebody should knowledge share about what they've learned here, for sure.
So what are you talking about today at South by?
Well, we're talking about 18 years of the Progressive Insurance campaign featuring the character Flo.
So I can't believe it's 18 years. Can you believe it's been 18 years?
Kind of no. And it does age me pretty badly. But yeah, no, it's hard for me to believe.
One of my favorite things about Arnold and this relationship and Flo is that people will dress up for Flo as Halloween. And we've talked about this multiple times. It just blows my mind that you've created such an iconic character in culture that people will dress up and knock on your door when it's trick-or-treating.
And it is pretty bananas. And that's like an experience I have in my house on Halloween, which is weird.
Do you try to explain to the 7-year-old
imagine
that
you're not the loser dynamic, be like, look, I chose that outfit, okay? Yeah. Which is not true, but whatever. Yeah. I'll take credit.
You would be exposing to a child. They're so impressionable. They don't realize that like the work that went into creating Flo and how it's solving business challenges.
Right.
But of course, they couldn't get that explained to them while they're getting trick-or-treated upon.
I mean, I had once where like I was on set like in LA for a long time, so I'm like on video chat talking to my son when he's like 3, and Steph walks by. Courtney is the person who plays Flo. I'm like, oh, look who it is, and I put my arm around her and get her on with my son. And he just goes, ah, and runs. Because it was like too much world shifting, or whatever. He was like, "What's the lady from the TV doing with my dad?"
You melted your child's brain in that moment.
I did.
And that's just a proud father moment.
That's true.
It's a canon event.
It's great. It is wild. I mean, it's got to be very cool. I don't know if there's a lot of other things in culture that have just lasted that long. We still have Flo, and MTV's gone.
Dude, you just blew my mind.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. I agree. And on some level, genuinely, like, I think we take it seriously for that reason. Like, I think brands don't talk enough about if you're going to be that present, that big a media buy, that present in culture, like, it's like a little bit of a cultural responsibility to make that work entertaining, to not make it something that you desperately want to flip off, but instead you want to watch and laugh at.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, part of the reason why I think it's survived as long as it has is because we've taken the care to be like, we're going to be in someone's living room a lot. We should make it entertaining.
Well, you're a guest in their home.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
What about on the client side? Are they? I could see me with my ADHD brain being like, I want to try something else.
Yeah.
Like, I know that this is working. It's been working, but
yeah.
Is there a level of discipline involved to keep it rolling, even though there is success? But
yeah, for sure. I think part of it, their brand has expanded, and so that's not the only thing they do. So that satiates that desire, and also it lets them target specific audiences. But I also think, there's discipline on their side, and I mean, they wouldn't be doing it if it wasn't driving business.
Right.
But I also think the thing that we built, there's a versatility to it, right? Like, the core is basically just a merry band of insurance misfits, and then after that, like, what's possible, if that's like the fundamental rule, these people are special in this slightly askew way, right? They wear this, and for some reason they're obsessed with insurance. If you just plug that into almost anything else, it works. And so it's vast, like, in that way. Anything's kind of possible. And as long as you stay disciplined to that primary creative trope, it goes.
What are the parameters, again, that you have to follow with this?
I mean, I just think, like, at a certain point, the core of the thing is these characters are, whether it's explained or not, deeply obsessed with Progressive Insurance, right? And there's positives to that as a customer. There's like interpersonal negatives. Like there's a little bit, you have to be a little bit askew, right, to act that way. And so, like, I think that's the fundamental tension. It's like plugging them into the world as it is, or history, or genres, or whatever else. So it's just that as a core trope. It's pretty versatile.
Yeah.
We can move on, but I do want to ask about. Can you talk about the origin of it? I don't know if I've ever.
Sure. And it predates me a little bit.
Okay.
So I started like 6 ads in. There's been about 250, and the first 6 were without me. But like the beginning of that, it's hard to imagine, and I'm sure it's especially hard for you guys because you're younger than me. But 20 years ago, buying things on the internet was weird. People were like getting into being like, I can buy pet food on the internet. But if you were like buy insurance on the internet, everybody was used to doing that like with their uncle's friend or something, right? Like going and sitting, and that guy would tell you.
For us, it was our buddy.
There you
we
go.
get like renter's insurance.
Right.
Yeah.
Jack Griggett.
Yeah, Jack Griggett.
And so Progressive's business was a direct buying insurance business, which is less typical than it is now. And so that campaign was, they were worried, like they were very early in the internet, putting insurance on the internet, and you could buy it on the internet. They were worried that that was like too big a leap for people on a human level, if that makes sense. And so I think the idea was more about, she had a store back then, and it was more about the store than it was about the character Flo. It was like, how do we make buying on the internet feel more familiar? So it was like, what if we did this like digital analogy, like this overlay, that it was like a grocery store or something, and insurance is on the shelves, and you pull it off and buy it with this friendly person, and somehow that was, the intention was that was going to humanize and make it feel more like something you could do. So that was the origins of it 20 years ago. And I think, interestingly, probably relatively quickly, the personality of the character, it was clear that that was the more powerful thing than the construct that I think is what started it.
Freaking awesome.
I want to ask about Arnold today.
Okay.
What they're up to today.
All right, hold on. You ask him that, and then we'll do the guitar thing.
Okay.
Maybe I think
Like a
questions
highlight
after that.
But like, how do we get it beyond like the question? Like, it's like, we're good, we're growing.
Yeah,
like,
I know. You don't want to just say like we got great. The people are really what make it.
Tell us something about Arnold today that not many people know about.
We're good. We're growing.
What?
Oh, come on.
I mean, it's really about the people.
I was too busy
It's really about the people, guys.
It's all about the people.
It's really about the people. A thing that I've been noticing recently is that we win something in a category, and in my assessment, we make the best work in that category. So, a couple years ago, we won PNC Bank. To me, that is the breakthrough work in the banking category in the country. Recently, we did some work for Norwegian Cruise Lines. I think it really stands out compared to other things in the category. We just did some work for Max Flying Golf. I think it's some of the best work in the golf category. So, yeah, we got really good momentum, I think, making real work for real clients that stands out.
Is there like a method that you all, when you're entering into a new category, to look? Is it because you kind of want to
sharing that shit with you guys?
Come on,
just us.
Sean.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a novel approach, but I think it's about digging in on insight and what differentiates a client, and then figuring out the best way to tell a story around that
just
catches
It's all
people's
about
attention.
the people, though.
I mean, the biggest thing is about the people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they do have a good squad.
You do have a good squad.
Thank you.
They've been working together. That team feels like at the top level for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
What keeps everyone together? Like, how do you think you've been able to keep that crew intact?
I mean, genuinely, I do think it's about loving each other and enjoying each other's company. I don't think.
You guys fight sometimes?
I fight George, but physically, not emotionally. It's just more of a training thing.
What moves is he rocking now?
Yeah, he's got the triangle chokehold going.
Judo flip.
I think he's got some judo.
He's a hockey guy, though.
Yeah,
that's true.
He's
Jersey
going to
over.
Jersey.
Well, this is also it's a very Boston thing to when you just start fighting each other.
Let's go. And then start sobbing and be like, "I love you," and then we go back to. No, I do think if you're doing this job at the level of hours and intensity that we do it, and you don't like who you're hanging out with, there's just no way to do it. And if you're making stuff for a living that you want to be awesome and you don't enjoy doing that, you're not going to succeed. So, I mean, I think, at least at Arnold, the core reason why it's successful is because we enjoy both those processes. It's fun.
Yeah, and then when you bring in more junior level talent, how do you, obviously that's just as important, but you kind of have this core crew, the vets.
Well, that's combat-based too. So
of course.
They got the job for a reason.
Sorry, finish your question.
No, I am curious.
I get this. It's you guys are so close. It's how do you could people feel like outsiders if they're just starting in there, and how do you welcome them in?
I think that's a great question, and to be honest, I think that's a thing that it's a thing that Boston as a city struggles with, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I do think that's a challenge and a really good question, especially in an environment where we're all in the office 3 days a week or whatever it is. I think it just has to be about work and integrating in the work and shared love of work. If your taste is our taste, if you love making things, if you love digging in with people and solving problems, you'll be fine. Mm-hmm. But I agree with you that especially in 2026, it can be tough for a young person to break in and feel like they're part of the team quickly. It's our job to get them working on something quickly.
I like that.
Trenches until midnight, bring people together.
Of course, of course. I think that is a very real answer, because I feel like I was expecting you to say something like, "Oh, we have our company
something that frames
hour.
Arnold to look good as opposed to bad." Yeah.
Right. Yeah, not leading with we actually fight the new.
So you thought I'd be professional and not make mistakes.
But I think that's cool. I feel like people probably appreciate that. I remember, starting a new job, you're you just want to feel like you're contributing as quickly as possible, and then that's how you bond with people. It's not through.
You're exactly right, and I also think that's the advice you should give people who are trying to figure out how to get in. It's the most important thing is just saying yes and hustling.
You have a rule.
Yeah.
What's your rule? The first.
That's right, man.
First year.
Yeah, just you'd be amazed at how far you'll go and how much your career will advance if you just say yes and dive in whenever anybody asks you to when you're just starting out. I really think that. And obviously talent and competency and work ethic and stuff matter, but at the end of the day, we're desperate for people who just want to row with us. You know what I mean? So if it's hey, I have a fragment for this thing, will you go work on that? Just go do it. Even if I'm wrong, You get time with me. You get time with other people in the agency. You learn what you like about how I think, or what you don't like about how I think. I just think early on, if you do that, you'll blink and 18 months will go by, and you'll have a network of people who trust you in the place, and you will have advanced your knowledge, and we'll have a book of stuff that you weren't expecting. Like later in your career, you have to figure out what you like, what's a great match for you.
Right.
But early, just say yes and hustle.
Get those reps in.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't know what you don't know what you'll like. You might have a pre-existing idea, but you really don't know.
And it's good, like, if you work at a place and you're like, I don't think those creatives know what they're doing, I don't like their work, that's just as valuable as the other. You've like learned a thing about what you don't want to be when you're in charge.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's amazing. You know what else is amazing?
Yes, Jack, I do.
Framer. Framer's amazing. And you know what also?
We were just talking about how good Framer is.
It's the best. Yeah. It's the best.
No coding. No coding.
Maximum
websites.
speed. Maximum speed. Build your dream website. You're also a dream on the guitar, Sean.
Oh dear.
Let's pull it out. If
do I have to do this?
Yeah. If you just want to give us a quick lick.
I wish I had like a flashy Spanish classical guitar thing.
Here,
it's just like not my. Oh, hold on.
I want to make sure the mic gets it.
Oh, those guys not picking. It's terrible.
Oh, nice.
Shoot, this is rough. Can we cut this?
No.
Do you have rights to the Beatles?
You think we know how to edit?
We do have rights to the Beatles, yes.
Okay, good. George Harrison, he's not allowed anymore. So it's George, right? You guys gonna go to sleep? Do we have to use this?
Yeah.
Of course. He's good.
Of course. I know he's good.
There you go. Yeah.
Sean McBride.
That was Sean McBride.
CCO, Arnold Worldwide.
Jesus, guys.
Thank you so much. Jesus, guys. Nicely done. That was great. That was Sean McBride. Always a pleasure. Arnold Worldwide CCO. Up next, very special guest, Beth Keamy. She is the Chief Digital Officer at TBWA Media Arts Lab. But what does that mean?
That's the agency that does the advertising and marketing for one brand and one brand only. It's in your pocket. It's in your office.
It's in your ears.
It's in your ears. It's on your wrist.
Can you guess?
That would be Apple. So we're going to get into that, what that looks like, especially from the digital perspective in advertising. She's the expert.
I think the best question we asked here is, what does Chief Digital Officer mean?
Yeah.
Digital. What the hell? Especially working with Apple. Apple, obviously iconic. We talked about our Mount Rushmore of Apple campaigns, so it's pretty cool to get her insight, knowing Beth's been there for a decade at TBWA Media Arts Lab. She was talking about how Lee Clow, legend, still roams the halls. Some really fun stories there. So this is a fun interview.
Yep.
Let's bring her in. Shout out to Beth. Beth, welcome to the show. Let's go. Showtime. Boom. Beth, who are we here with?
Welcome to the show.
Excited to be here. Thanks for having me, fellas.
Oh, it's great to have you. South by Southwest. The crew's here. TBWA Media Arts Lab. Gino, what are they most famous for?
Are you kidding me? It's let me think. What
do we do?
Boom!
Right there.
Watch on YouTube. Watch on YouTube.
Just continuing to build one of the best brands of all time. Jack.
Yeah, we're so lucky. So lucky. It's a dream client.
And you're the Chief Digital Officer at the company. Yeah. What does that mean?
What does it mean? I think it can be such a nebulous title in this day and age, because what is digital? It's nothing and it's everything. It's the world that we all live and consume in. So I look at my job as like helping make sure across the agency and the work that we're doing that it's really built for the modern marketing landscape. And it's built to kind of live in the places where we get to meet our audiences directly. And so that comes in all different shapes and forms and all different creative expressions. So it's a fun job.
Where are you online, Jack?
I'm everywhere.
Heavily
I'm
online?
digital.
Chronically online?
Chronically online, digitally, I'm everywhere. Is it hard nowadays to be a Chief Digital Officer versus back in the day when it was just like Facebook?
We had 3 platforms and a website.
Yeah.
We used to send some emails.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the landscape is ever evolving, and I think that's part of the fun. You never know where your day is going to go. You never know where the creative projects are going to go. It's hard to keep up. We have an incredible team and a team around the world. We have 8 offices around the world, and so constantly getting insights from people and en masse, we're able, I think, to track it all overall. But for one person, no way. There's too much to look at.
Well, Apple, 50th year anniversary.
Yeah.
Alicia Keys, Grand Central Terminal, very cool. But 20 years for
20
TBWA
years
Media Arts Lab,
for
correct?
Media Arts Lab. And the relationship with Apple obviously predates that under Shy at Day and the partnership between Steve Jobs and Lee Clow. And we were so lucky
Chills.
to inherit that mantle. And like we say all the time, we stand on the shoulders of giants, and it's our job just every day to come in and try and hit that bar that they established for us. So it's a fun way to spend your time.
Yeah. How's Lee doing?
He's doing great. He still swings by the agency every now and again. Wearing his flip-flops. He comes in and calls us all kids and makes sure we're continuing strong. So yeah, he's doing really well. He's living his best
I would
life.
love to meet him one day. That's
Yeah,
incredible.
he's got stories just for not just days, for months, for years. What a
Absolutely.
life.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it has to be a weird dynamic of the amount of pressure there inherently is with such like a tremendous history in the way and the longevity of Apple as a brand, but then also it's got to be exciting. Like you said you couldn't ask for a better client.
No, you really can't. And the bar is high and the pressure is there. I think we try as an agency, on our best days, we take the work really seriously, but we try not to take ourselves too seriously.
Yeah.
You have to balance that kind of the mantle that we're given and the mantle that we have to push forward. You want to hold it high, but you also want to be able to come in and have fun. And so we try and offset those two things, and we work with incredibly talented people that know how to do the job, but also know how to have a laugh along the way, which I think is crucial.
And we were talking yesterday about this, but working on one brand, like, how do you keep the teams energized with one brand? And just talk me through that.
Well, it's a pretty special brand in every sense of the word, but I think it's not one brand. It has such a dimensionality underneath it in terms of product lines, in terms of audiences, in terms of the global nature of the work that we do. And so there's always a new challenge. We hadn't particularly been in the entertainment industry, and then Apple TV comes along and we get an opportunity to go into a new category, learn about it, be curious, understand how creative and how marketing moves differently and feels differently in that space. So there's always a chance with the client that we work for and the incredible way that they show up in so many different spaces to find something new, to raise the ceiling. Every time I think I'm done and I've learned anything, I get a new brief or a new email and I'm like, okay, let's go again. So I think it's dynamic in that sense.
Can I ask about her specialty?
We're gonna do an aside right now.
Can I ask about her specialty in digital?
Yeah.
You think that's good?
I feel like what does that even mean?
Well,
what kind of question is that?
I was gonna. I have something. I'm gonna
Okay,
line
you're
up
gonna
there.
land the. All right, as long as you land it, I trust
Yeah.
you.
You
All
are.
right. Aside is over.
Oh, my notes went down.
Aside closed.
Okay, so you're an expert in digital and advertising and marketing. You know stuff that we have no clue about, and our audience probably doesn't know about. What's one thing that you are watching in digital that's hot right now, a trend that you're on that you're excited about?
Oh my gosh, there is so much I'm excited about. I think, I mean, stuff that I just get like fangirly about. I love the rise of microdramas. I think that's an incredible change in behavior that started over in the East markets and is making its way over to the West.
What is this?
Yeah,
What is this?
That's a great
Microdramas?
poll.
Yeah.
This is something that's starting to hit my feeds.
Yeah, so microdramas it's kind of this notion of like tiny little short form episodic content in your feed. And so I think what's really interesting across the digital landscape is people have less time and more time than ever before. And so you're seeing this like middle level of attention is kind of like bottoming out, and people are either spending 2 seconds, 3 seconds with your brand in the feed, or they're wanting to spend like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 45 minutes. And so it's really interesting, and we talk a lot at the agency of like, we have to build for both types of attention. We have to build in a way that captures you in the feed, and thinking about like, what is an ad that's out of home for the internet, that immediate, visceral, emotional reaction to something really quick. But also when we have people and we've captured their attention and they are wanting to lean in and spend time with us, how are we spending as much time as possible with the people that like the brand? And so it's building for the fluid attention of the internet. That's really interesting.
Are you watching these microdramas? I see it on my feed and it's like episode like 30 of like a bunch, and like I feel like if I was interested I would click probably from the start. Like we've seen with our guy, New York Nico.
Yeah, there's a ton of really good examples, and especially now that Apple, like you said, is really diving into the entertainment side of things. It's kind of on, and how entertainment and brands are pretty much, I feel like Apple's kind of been leading that for a while, and now other companies are starting to get in on it, where like branded entertainment.
Yeah, for sure.
Is just entertainment.
It is just entertainment, and I think that's a big shift. I mean, we're making content, not ads. Like, you're telling stories. You want the emotional reaction. I think we're always looking to not just what are we telling you, but how are we making you feel? And how do you feel when you see something from the brand? And so I think people changing that mindset and being able to look at like what is truly entertaining, and it does require a bit of a code shift in like how you think. You know, you're probably not going to do a logo lockup at the end of the thing, and you're probably not going to like crop super tight into the product. You allow to like your brand message to weave its way in subtly and kind of and move through the story that you're telling versus kind of hit people over the head with it. And so it's definitely a different language.
Do you think that does this mind shift, is it happening quicker because over in LA because of the proximity to Hollywood and the entertainment industry?
I don't know. I think it's happening where you have somebody brand side, a CMO that understands and has a visionary mindset about it. I think the entertainment industry is so fragmented at this point, and it's happening all over the world. I really look, and I love, there is a girl on TikTok that does a series called The Group Chat, and she has just started her own mini content series, and it's episodic, and she writes it, she performs all the characters herself.
Nice.
And like, so I think it is, yes, there are changes in the traditional entertainment industry, but I also think that is colliding with just the way that people are showing up and making their own content in the feed, and all of that kind of goes into this melting pot that is changing the way that people think about the work.
When it comes to using tech, I think tech in advertising, how you're deploying it, the methods in which you're using it to stay ahead. I feel like if at TBWA Media Arts Lab, working with Apple, one of the most technologically advanced companies of all time. What's that relationship like, and how are you all using technology for the job?
Yeah, we use it in a bunch of different ways, and I think
That's kind of like a big J journalist question. I feel like that was
Should we do a little round of applause?
Yeah. How are you using technology, like especially with it being at Apple? I feel like they'd be pushing.
Everybody has to have Apple products, right?
Oh my! Well, they're the best products to use. So why would we use
I'm using
anything
Apple
else?
products. Shout out Apple.
Shout out Apple. No, I think we always think about the audience and the idea that we're crafting first. I think when I look at where technology becomes really performative in marketing, you can tell that somebody started with the tech first. They've gone, I'm going to make a thing with this new feature, functionality, tool, technology. And then they layer on an idea, and then it kind of, and then you can see it. You can see it in the final product. And I think, like, if there's anything I believe about our audience is that they're incredibly savvy these days, and like this is a generation that's grown up on the internet, and they know, they're like clocked on. And so I think when we start with the idea and we think about that idea in the context of who it's for, if there is a technology or a tool that helps us make that work better, we absolutely lean into that. And so we do it in a number of ways. We're looking and expanding the use of AI across our localization processes, how we scale these incredible campaigns out around the world. But we'll also dive really deep into native social features and understand how the platforms are changing functionality and giving new ways to engage, and try and really deeply embed them in the creative work too. So I think it's all about technology is an incredible tool, but it has to be in service of the work, and the work has to be in service of the audience. And if you kind of go in that order, I think you get to good stuff.
Absolutely.
So it's not, you can, I feel like with all the new tech coming out and softwares, I fall into the trap of this new technology will make this job easier, but I don't know if it's actually going to make it better. Which is probably a really hard line to draw between like efficiency and it actually being good. Yeah,
and we ask the question a lot. Did we do it differently, or did we do it better? Because different with not a better outcome is not always worth chasing. But you have to test and you have to experiment to be able to learn these things. And so we are constantly, bringing new ideas, new tools, new techniques into the agency, piloting them. We have a culture of experimentation in the agency. Let's break our muscle memory and see if we do something different. How does that go? And if it doesn't work, we go back to the way we've always done it, and we'll try the next thing that comes along. But I think you've got to dive in head first and really, you've always got to learn the lay of the land to be able to kind of then come up and survey it, and also kind of break the rules with the tech sometimes.
I love it. Is there a piece of work that you all have done recently that you think that like you're particularly excited about? You don't have to pick your favorite. I don't want you to pick favorites, but one that stands out.
I can't pick favorites. I mean, we're so lucky with the breadth of the work. I will say, like the last part of 2005, we released Great Ideas Start on Mac, the new creative platform and campaign for Mac. We then moved into the design team in partnership with Apple, rebranded the Apple TV logo. That was pretty special. We had our holiday ad filled with like singing critters and puppets, and then we pulled up this incredible motorbike stunt with Red Bull in the feed, and an entirely organic activation between our two social handles on Instagram. So that's one of my favorite things of being at Mal, is like all of that happens in a matter of weeks in the agency. And so we get to flex muscles in so many different spaces, which is fun. And there's a lot of good stuff coming up around the corner.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, a lot of product launches recently for Apple. A lot of exciting. I feel like there's a ton of, even more so now than ever. Not that there's not ever buzz around Apple, but I feel like particularly right now, there's a lot of attention and buzz. So I guess I'm curious with that, where Apple feels like it's always part of the conversation, but then you have these spikes. And it's like, is it hard to manage and work on a brand that's constantly in conversation and knowing and having discipline of like when to go in and when to not interact?
Yeah, I think it's a blessing to have a brand that, as a client, that people love and people want to talk about. And our job is always to kind of add fuel to that fire, to find more ways to have the conversation with them. And so that's always what we're trying to do through the work.
Let's do a group exercise.
Yeah, I'm in.
Okay. We're going to do a Mount Rushmore of the best Apple ads or campaigns in history.
Okay.
But we all have to work together, so you'll go first, Jack. This is one. There's 4 people on Mount Rushmore.
Ooh.
I'll kick it off.
Okay.
Mac versus PC.
Oh, wow.
Pretty iconic.
Love that campaign.
Yeah. That's a pretty good one to start.
We're good on that one?
You know, I don't know if this is kind of a big one, but shot on iPhone.
Yeah,
shot on iPhone
absolutely.
has to be up there.
I think shot on iPhone, for someone who, I like taking pictures, but I don't have a camera. Shot on iPhone.
Yeah, you do. It's in your pocket. It's called an iPhone.
Wait, that's
Create different. Create different.
Shot on iPhone is such a gift. I mean, I think that as a frame and a lens has been allowed us to shape shift in so many different ways, to tell so many different angles on camera storytelling over the years. So that for me is absolutely lost on Mount Rushmore.
I feel like you just get amped up when you see the shot on iPhone.
Oh yeah.
Like it's such a revolutionary idea.
Yeah, it's pretty
Think
special.
Different manifesto. Is that the right terminology?
The Think Different ad, yeah, the big Super Bowl ad, I think that absolutely has to be in there.
Yeah.
That is just like
the version,
agency lore.
The version where Steve Jobs is actually speaking of it, like he was doing the voiceover. I think that's a thing. You can find that. It's incredible.
Can you do that? Can you do the voice?
Official end, I don't think.
I like the Lee Clow.
Oh,
I like it
yeah.
when he goes. He's like, do the brave thing. Like, don't do the right thing. Do the brave thing.
He still says that to this very day.
He was a big T-shirt guy. Like he would put like
Loves a
quotes on
t-shirt.
T-shirts. Like he would put.
It's
it
not
on
real unless you put it on a t-shirt.
Yeah.
TM Lee Clown.
And Tim interviewed him.
Tim
Nutt, of course.
Yeah.
The GOAT.
The GOAT.
And I think he asked like, what's better, art direction or copywriting? And Lee Clow goes, well, a picture's worth 1,000 words.
It's a good answer.
It's a great
I
line.
freaking love
Do you
that.
think he had that? God, that's just a different brain.
Oh,
it's just
yeah.
I mean, he's a legend.
Him and
total
Schwartz
legend.
can just get
Rob Schwartz.
Yeah.
just
Another
distill
great,
something
great
down
legend.
so simply.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah,
it's
and
cool.
simplicity is like a big thread through everything we do, and the art of reduction is the hardest art to learn, and
Yes.
and so we are constantly looking at like, okay, if we're here, how do we get it to here, and that distillation process is what I think makes the communication so effective and so compelling for people.
It's so hard.
It's brutal.
It's got to be so hard that just like think different. Like that think different is still all these years later.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did a good job
Think
with that
different.
one.
Shot on iPhone.
You have to
1984.
do
Yeah.
iPod silhouettes. Is the
Yes.
other
Silhouettes,
one that,
yeah.
like that for me was the first exposure. I grew up in Australia in like a small seaside town, and I remember those ads. I remember Jet was the music, and they were a local Aussie band, and I couldn't believe that like Apple in Cupertino had seen Jet, had felt like they were seeing me, and I think that is when we're at our best. You know, we're helping people feel seen by this brand, and that really means something. It's such a precious thing to be able to like make someone's day by Apple reaching out to them.
And that's four.
four.
And then
That's
I mean
four.
that's your, and then you get the super bad. And the intro of Superbad, they do the, of course, they do the same thing. It's culture. The iPod is making a comeback. Are you? Did you know this?
Do you mean like
people
like
rock
the
it.
People are about-
recycle? Yeah.
Yeah, like the old iPod. Did I say iPad or iPod?
iPod.
I said iPod.
Yeah.
Okay, iPod.
They're bringing it back.
It's coming back. eBay said, or one of those resale sites was like, we've seen a massive uptick in people selling and purchasing
Yeah, I
iPods.
saw someone the other day, this guy who was like, I bought it and I'm using it because it just removes all the notifications and I can do my music, but it's this really simple, pure experience. And I saw that and I went, oh God, I wonder where my old blue iPod Nano is. But
I saw
might have to
someone-
call my mom and see if
it's
it's
just
in a cupboard.
The best present was when you see the iPhone box.
There's nothing better.
Yeah, the Apple box. just like-
I saw someone on the subway, like last week. They had an iPod Nano.
We could
They were
dig
using
around
it.
those drawers. We got to see what old.
It
and
still
it
works.
still works.
of course.
Quality
incredible.
engineering.
Well, quality interview. Beth, thank you so much for hanging out with us
Yeah,
in
happy
Arlen's
to be
studio.
here.
Shout out to the Collins team for
Yeah.
having us here.
Thank-
Shout out to Framer.
And shout out to Apple. Shout out to Media Arts Lab.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for joining
Thank
us.
you
It's
for
a
having
pleasure.
me in this awesome studio. We should.
Yeah, do you play guitar?
I could give it a go.
Okay, let's
No,
see it.
Terrible,
Let's-
terrible. Not the way
Fair
in.
enough. Fair enough. Thanks so much, Beth. Appreciate
Yeah,
you.
awesome to
it.
be here.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Awesome.
That was Beth Keamy, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you found that one as fun and interesting as we did. Next up is Craig Allen. Jack, what are your thoughts on Craig Allen?
Craig Allen runs the agency Callen. He's the founder of it, and they were just on standout agency list for Ad Age's A-list. So they're one of the most interesting, unique, crazy ad agencies. They're very like forth-putting about that and being like kind of funny and crazy. But what's interesting to me is clearly it's working because they got named on standout. So I think people have that perception of Callen, maybe Craig himself, that they're just kind of crazy and they do crazy fun work. He has a ton of respect in the industry, but I think it's pretty wild too that they are doing great stuff.
I love seeing them succeed, and anytime they win, I just get really happy. So
Nice glaze.
No, I do, and he's got a lot to say here about South by Southwest. Remember, they're based in Austin here. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Craig Allen.
Craig Allen from Callen. Good to see you. How are you?
I'm great. Good to see y'all.
Thanks for
You're looking
hanging
great.
out. You look great too.
South by Southwest is like a home game for you all. Callen, Austin based.
Yes.
You got South by Southwest in your backyard.
That's right.
You gotta protect this turf. Do you feel like you gotta protect this turf in a way?
I do. I think it's great. This is the best part of time to come to Austin. So everybody comes here for the festival and then they want to move here. And then they stay in the summer and they say, what happened? But that's
wow.
great. Austin, they chose these weeks very carefully. I already heard like 15 people last night being like, I'm thinking about moving here. This is what happens every year.
That's
Oh,
classic.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
classic.
And it's great. You're walking around town. I mean, we're on East 6th Street, kind of in the heart of everything. Starting at 9 a.m. this whole week, basically, our whole building is just rattling from the bands that are playing all around us. So all day long, we're on serious business calls, and all you can hear is, Led Zeppelin covers and stuff.
As one can imagine. I mean, it's the South by Southwest parties. I feel like the agencies here take a lot of pride in hosting people, and they take it upon themselves to make sure that they have something going on. Callen, obviously, no exception. You all throw a big party, people get excited. Is it like why does it matter so much? I don't understand why it feels like
Yeah.
it's such a bigger thing here.
I think we're all really proud of this city, and I think we're, as mostly Texans, we're very welcoming people, and I think we want, when people come here, we're very proud of it. We want to show it off. Like all week long, I've been like, you got to go to this place, you got to go eat at this place, you need to do this, and so when the city comes to life, we want to show it to people, and we want to make sure when they come here they have a blast, so that they don't leave and be like, that place sucks or something.
Yeah, and there's some camaraderie. We discovered this already, Jack, but there's camaraderie around the agency professionals within this market here. Like last night, we saw you guys hanging out with different agencies, and just kind of speak to how you guys come together during this week.
It's funny, I saw the GSD&M, Jay Russell and Lee last night, and they pointed out a fact which I had overlooked, which is there was 3 Austin agencies on the A-list this year. And so for us as a community, that's a big deal. I was like, oh man, look at us, like, because we've always been kind of, I would say, an afterthought, which I like to live in that area. When I lived in Portland at Wyden, we always kind of felt like outside of, if you're not in LA or San Francisco or New York, you kind of feel like you're on an island. Portland felt like that. Austin sometimes feel like that. But now, with more agencies around, it used to be if you came here, you could only work at, say, GSD&M, maybe McGarrett Jesse. Now there's so many options. More people can move here because they have significant others. They have, whatever it may be, that's an account person that we don't need, but somebody else needs. So it's been nice to do, kind of have more options for people. And then as the A-list, that's a big deal for Austin. Like having 3 out of 8 or whatever that was on there. Yeah, that's a big deal.
It's a huge deal. For the agency, were you all, because I didn't realize you don't really know that you're on it until the day of, right? Like you didn't find out until we found out.
Yeah, they told us like a few days before, and we were like, oh crap. And then we wanted to take a picture, and we didn't have time. So we took pictures today just in case we ever are lucky enough to win again.
For those that didn't read the article specifically, like why Callan on the standout for A-list? Like what were some of the big reasons you think that you guys
I think we had pretty massive growth this year for a small agency. We had a lot of new clients that came in, and we're still getting new clients, which has been fantastic. Feel very lucky there. And we hired a lot of important people, head of strategy, David Terry, Jess Monzi as head of new business, Mike Davidson as head of production. So we hired, our kind of motto for this whole year was grow up. And that's what we tried to do, last year. And we made big hires because we're like, it's time to, you start being like, well, we're a startup. And you kind of start using that as an excuse. Yeah. And then I'm like, wait, we're 7 years old. We're like, we're old. We're just up. Like we've already started. So we started kind of behaving like that. And I think that's what allowed us to kind of go up to the next level, is started taking ourselves as seriously as we wanted to.
But there's like a paradox here, right?
Well, I was going to ask you that I think you on purpose, you've manufactured a perception that the Callan crew, you don't take yourselves too seriously. You're all about having fun. Not, it's a serious business, but that doesn't mean you all have to pretend to be buttoned up. Yeah. But do you think that winning standout proves to people, although you do not take yourself seriously, you're still creating effective work, and you're still a legit agency?
I think that, we're trying to show you can still have fun and be successful. It doesn't have to be one or the other. So, I mean, I think if you come to our South by Party this year, or any of them, I think you'll see we're having a lot of fun. But it doesn't mean that we can't, for our clients, show up in very, better ways. And so I think we have a very strong offering now, and it shows in new business, which has been great. But a lot of people, we hear that we win pitches because of the vibes. Like we just like y'all, and we liked hanging out with you, and we like how y'all hang out with each other, and that was the difference maker.
Yeah. Do you guys start like new business pitch meetings in any way? Do you have like a system of some sort, or just show up, hang out with them, be yourself?
With the potential brands?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think we have, our decks are very deliberate, and I would like to say smart, and thoughtful and all that good stuff. But when we come, I think they're surprised by how disarming we are as just people. Like we just come in, we're not like very stuffy. We're not, hard handshakes and whatnot. We're just like,
do you do surprises? People. Do you do like, we've heard some pitch theater. Do you guys engage in that activity?
No, basically none. I mean, I think it's funny because we Jerry Graff, very early on, we'd get books that would have like glitter and different things in them. And we always said the more you have to try with that, the worse the work is going to be. Right. So we just kind of we're normal people. We show what I think is good work, and that stands out.
And you were talking about portfolios, right? Like when
student portfolios.
Yes, when they're trying to get attention.
The harder that you're trying to get attention, the worse the work usually is.
I might push back on that today because it's really hard to break in. So it's like, yes, the work, of course, is the first thing that matters, and it has to be really good in a portfolio. But like nowadays, like I feel like you do need a little bit of attention.
I always go to the first thing I do in portfolios is go to the. It's always something that's like work about me, and then there's a third category that's like fun or other stuff or I'm a weirdo, whatever it is.
Right.
And that's where I start. I never look at the work first. I always start there.
What was in your about me or like?
I'm so old, I don't think we had websites. It was just straight up a book.
What would you put in it?
I think I would put in there probably some artwork, probably some skits and stuff that I would have done like in college, like messing around with my friends that were probably some of the funnier stuff that I think I did back in the day. You know, when I wasn't trying to do ads and I was just trying to be funny.
Yeah.
I'd put all that stuff.
Is there any portfolios that you've seen recently, or like are there things that really catch you when you're going through a portfolio that speak to you specifically?
I mainly like when people are trying to keep themselves interested outside of their work. So I just talked with some people that were using AI to code this whole website for something that they wanted to do. And the fact that they're doing that on top of making good work, that's what I'm looking for. I'm like, y'all just want to make stuff so bad that you're like figuring out how to help AI code things for you because you're not coders and you're young on top of those things. And that's where I'm like, that is some drive and I'm not going to be denied. I'm going to go make stuff. That's number one.
What was the thing that they were making?
I don't know if I can say because they're at a current agency and we're talking to the recruiting them. And it would be very obvious.
There you go. Gino, well, you got to respect Gino trying to get that scoop.
Yeah.
You have to respect that.
I'm just a curious person.
You're just a curious, God forbid. God forbid.
That's why I'm over here. I'm just curious.
Yeah. At the heart of it all, we were talking, I wanted to get to this right before we started recording. You said, because you work with, you got the Bijan Mustardson work. You raced Bijan Robinson himself. How'd that go?
A lot of us have tried to race Bijan Robinson.
Is he like, hey guys, I don't really feel like
we're like,
racing.
Can we try to race you? And he's like, sure. But no, the game we play is how far down the field would I have to start to have a chance at beating him? And it's sadly on the other side of the 50 every time.
That's crazy.
He's turns out he's real fast.
He's good.
Yeah,
he's real good. How has all that been going? I mean, he's had such a successful NFL career. I feel like that must be great for business.
Yeah, when he does well, like I forgot it was like Monday Night Football or something. Keenan Thompson said something about mustard, and we sold like several thousands of dollars of mustard on Amazon immediately.
Context.
Context is important for this.
Give the context for everybody.
Oh, about the mustard?
Yeah.
We have a mustard with professional running back Bijan Robinson of the Atlanta Falcons. We started it in college as an NIL deal, and now we're in 250 stores, and the official mustard of the Falcons and UT Athletics.
It's good. It's really good.
Yeah.
You drank a lot of it.
I did like it.
There was no editing there. You actually did that.
I enjoyed it.
No, that was as real as it gets. That was, oh gosh.
And that's the example you just said about like that person's portfolio makers. Like you guys embody that spirit. You had an idea. You wanted to make it. You actually like from the ground up, right? Like you did it all.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we had a chef that came in Austin. I mean, that best part about Austin, you can almost find somebody that can do everything if you need to. I mean, we're sitting in Willie Nelson's old recording studio.
Bingo.
Met the guy who owns this several times, and like if we really needed a recording studio, you could probably go record in Willie Nelson's old studio.
Cool.
So there's a bunch of chefs here, so we were lucky to find a chef to help us like formulate all this mustard, and then we step by step figured it out.
Do you ever talk to CMOs or brands and be like, I get it.
Yeah.
After we built a brand, totally get what you're...
All the time. And we put the case study in when we talk about it, and it's mainly just saying, we put this in because one, we think it's cool, but two, like to show you that we understand. It gave us a new level of how to look at problems. Like when they always say, we get this from clients a lot, that they say, the meetings with you are our best part of the whole day. That's the number one meeting. I look forward to this meeting. It's the most fun I have, and then I go back to my other meetings. And we are always, it's always a good compliment, but I didn't really understand it until you have a company and like all of a sudden you don't have lids and somebody's yelling at you. And then I imagine I could get on a call and they want to present me funny stunts, and I'd be like, I don't give a crap about funny stunts. Like, we don't have bottles to put mustard in.
Right.
You know, so
Right.
that, you know, supply chain things and relationships with stores and all that stuff is serious business. And I think that's given me new context for when I go in and somebody's having a bad day. I used to be like, well, but this is cool. And now I'm like, I kind of get it.
Yeah.
Like,
You
fair
probably
enough.
have a new appreciation for like the lower funnel work too.
Oh
Like,
yeah, yeah. Like hardworking stuff is there for a reason. It's
Yeah.
not just an annoyance.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
It works really well. I mean, especially when you see the numbers.
Because like, you know, when we started the business, it was like, I was like immediately like conversion. How do we get like lower funnel? Like we need to convert. And like, but I was talking about creative campaigns. I studied creative campaigns.
Right.
That's why I love. Like I don't even care about awareness right now.
You're
I'm
saying all the things that you hated hearing when you were in your other
yeah.
job.
And I was like, I would never want to talk about that.
Don't
stuff.
tell my older self that I'm saying all these things and how important they are.
That's great. The last thing I wanted to bring up, I feel like Callan embodies the fun spirit of advertising. Even talking with the team at Callan, everyone kind of is singularly minded around like, this is fun, we're still having fun, we're enjoying it, which is, you know, in a lot of ways harder than ever. I think it's very easy right now if you work in advertising to be doom and gloom and, you know, lose sight of the fun part of it.
Right.
But there's also the side, you don't want to be like fake about it.
Right.
So I think that Callan does a good job. You're not like trying so hard to be like, we're so fun, look at how fun we are. So what's your advice for, you know, agency executives that are trying to instill a culture of having fun, not taking things serious while also still performing?
I think that I've been on a quest since day one. I always say if we wanted a boring job, we would all been, you know, accountants or something like that.
Can we say that?
yeah.
We got accountant friends.
Yes.
Yeah, and they're boring as hell.
Oh. You know, it's like, I mean, and cheers to them. That's like, they like doing that.
Yeah.
We don't, I'm
Right.
not good at that.
Yeah.
You don't want me doing your accounting. So I think that I always say if it starts feeling like too much of a job, then I probably will be out as well. So I think from the top, I'm like, we're having fun, we take it very seriously, the work part of it. We don't take ourselves very seriously at all. And I think that balance makes it fun. I mean, you know, even our South by party, which I think hopefully are coming to tonight, it's I'll just say what it is.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like every year we try to surprise people.
'cause
Last
this will
year,
be out Monday.
Yeah, say
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Say it.
every like last year we did a wedding and everybody thought they were coming to another boring South by party because a lot of them are the same. You show up, you talk about ads, you talk about technology, and you have a drink, and everybody has a nice time and then goes home. And so we're like, well, what can we do? Because you look at it, we came in. Preacher has their party on Sundays. Makes complete sense.
Yep.
Yes,
Yes.
Sunday service,
That
yeah.
does make sense.
Monday, GSD&M has been doing their party on Monday for 100 years. So that left Saturday for us. And it's been nice because I kind of had to figure that out. Like, oh, we don't want to be on the same day as their party. So we kind of do it on Saturdays.
Do the heads of the families meet up
Yeah.
and talk about
It was
that?
more like the first few years I wrote Rob Baird and I was like, oh no, we're having our party on the same day. How'd this happen? And he was like, we always have it on Sunday. We're called Preacher. And I was like, right, that one's on me.
Yep.
Like that was
Hands
stupid.
up, hands
Yeah.
up. Yep.
Okay, I'm not going to do that anymore. So, and I mean, I think if you go to the parties, they're all amazingly
Right.
different parties. You know, like our party is, we settled into, we're going to be the weird, unexpected misfit party.
Right.
And then, you know, GSD&M always has, it's a big, amazing musical artist, and Preacher always has like the most amazingly curated, it's the coolest party,
Yeah.
you know, that you can do. So ours last year was a wedding. This year we're doing, South by was condensed from 2 weeks into 1 week, and everybody's coming. So we feel like we had to work extra hard to give everybody their party's money's worth. So we're having 6 parties in one party simultaneously. So I think it's going to be, I don't know what's
6 parties in one.
Yes.
The set design.
It's going to be a lot of competing music and performances, and I don't know what's going to happen. I went there today.
Is it phases or all at once? Like, do we have to leave and then come back in and there's a new party set up?
No, it'll be you walk from one party and then you're suddenly in a completely different party, and then you walk through that and you're in a different party, and then there's a party in the elevator that's different from the party in the hallway.
Which party are you most excited about? Can you tell us that?
I think I'm most excited about the elevator party.
Okay.
Elevator party.
The only way is up. The elevator. I had some sort of like hell joke. Elevator to hell. The only direction is down.
It's there's
Unless you're going up.
Yeah, unless you go up. Unless, of course, you go. Well, you had mentioned, it's important that you aren't planning your party on conflicting days with other agencies. So you decided, why don't we just conflict with ourselves?
Yes.
6 times over.
Yeah, if you do 6 parties, everybody will leave feeling like they got their money's worth, even though it wasn't 2 weeks of parties.
Why not 5 and why not 7?
We only had 6 spaces.
Okay, got it.
Yeah,
okay.
it was really
So
awkward
6
if we didn't have any space. If one random space doesn't have a party, that's just a lost opportunity.
That's it. It's called maximizing.
Yes.
Optimizing the space.
I think it will be very overwhelming, and I think people will walk in thinking they're coming to a regular party and be like, "Why am I at a prom?" And then I'm suddenly at a Halloween party.
I love it.
I'm excited. The set design, I imagine, just has been.
They were building the facade of a house earlier when I was like very excited.
I talked to your producer. He's like, I have bags under my eyes. I'm working so hard at this party.
He hasn't worked his real job in weeks.
Yeah, so it should be fun. But I mean, I think that's part of it. It's like you go to that and you get a good sense of who we are.
Well, don't you think that is a good embodiment of the work that you do too, where it's crazy, wacky, it seems very dumb and stupid, but there's so much that goes into making something that feels dumb and stupid and wacky and random.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's a good
Wasn't
point.
that pretty good?
That was really good, actually.
Is that a compliment?
I'm going to write that down.
Let's listen to that
That's
one
a
over
Breaking
again.
Entry
Your work is dumb,
exclusive.
stupid, and wacky?
Yeah. Would you? Are you? First off, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend by saying
That was the
it might
biggest
be-
compliment I've ever received.
Hell yeah.
No, I mean, I think it does go back to my same philosophy on South by parties would be the same as our work, which is if you're not going to do something that will be memorable and worth somebody's time, then don't waste your time.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Don't waste the money. So like we're trying to do something where at least if you leave South by, be like, remember that crazy party? That was the weirdest, funnest thing I've ever done. And I think that's the same thing when we do ads. I'm like, let's do something that if you're going to ask for somebody's time, make it worth their while and make it memorable so you don't just walk away. You don't want to leave South by being like, that was fun. I think I did a lot of stuff.
Right.
Ideally, you're leaving with something. Like people are already coming up to us this year being like, your wedding last year was crazy and I came back just because I don't know what's going to happen this year and it's worth coming back.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
that's
that's a big compliment.
Did you brief the team? Did you brief the agency for ideas of like?
We had a plan.
Did you have a strategist?
committee? Yes, we had
Party planning committee.
Yes, we had a couple that were deemed too offensive, and then we settled on this one.
But when you explain the idea of like you actually have a strategy in place.
Yeah.
And like, well, it was condensed. The actual South by Festival is condensed
Insight.
down. Okay, what can we do with that? Let's brief the teams now.
Yeah.
There was an idea that was like the couple that got married last year. We checked in with them just to make sure they were still together because we could have had a divorce party. They are still
50%
together.
marriages.
They're still
Happily
together?
For now.
Yes. Yes.
They're still.
Maybe next
why you
year.
had to add that part.
Well, I mean, like nothing works out.
Nothing works
personal
out.
Yeah, it's only a
relationship.
matter of
Nothing
time,
works
so,
out.
Yeah.
Nothing works out.
Never.
Well,
Maybe things will work out.
That's
one
what you
day.
need to get a shirt. Nothing works out
Ever.
nothing works out.
Nothing
ever.
good happens ever.
And just Craig's face. It's like a thumbs up. Craig, thank you for your time. It's been a blast.
course.
Appreciate
Love
you
you guys.
stopping by, and
Yeah.
we'll see you tonight at the party. We'll be reporting.
Thanks for coming to
Yes, we
South
will.
by.
Of course.
Yeah.
Anytime.
We love it.
All right.
Thanks.
Golden. Nothing works ever.
Nothing works ever.
That was Craig. Always a pleasure. Next agency leader is another Austin-based CEO this time.
It's the CEO.
Krystle Loyland is the CEO at Preacher, one of the OGs of founding Preacher, and she's going to step in and talk with us about what's going on there. You got a soft spot for Preacher's branding.
Yeah, I think the branding is just, it's surgical. It's just so tight and so measured and so well done. The parameters that they put around their branding as an agency, ladies and gentlemen, is a master class here. And we're going to get into that with their South by Southwest party and how they plan that. What else do we talk about?
Oh my gosh, we get into, I think she gets very real
about the culture.
About the culture,
Yeah.
very real about the drawing this line between having people be excited about the agency that they work at without trying to get everyone, force everyone to be a part of a cult and being a part of like a toxic workplace. So she has some very real thoughts on it and practical advice, and it's great to hear. I enjoyed this one. Let's bring her in, Krystle Loyland. Yeah. Who are we here with?
Hey, I'm Krystle Loyland. I'm one of the co-founders of Preacher and CEO.
Oh, it's great to have you. This is fantastic.
Glaze alert, Preacher is one of my favorite agencies because they have the best branding. I think all around, every decision that they make is just so on brand for their own agency, which I think is so amazing. And I'm sure you do that with all your clients too.
Awesome. Yeah, no, craft and thoughtfulness and precision, all of that is really important for all our clients. But right now, during South by, we have a lot of busy client work going on, but also this is the time of year where we don't forget our client Preacher. And so we treat Preacher as a client and give it the same craft and care that we do our paying clients. And this is sort of like the Super Bowl every year for Preacher, because this is when we're lucky enough to have like the whole world descend on our home.
Yeah.
And all of the magic and all of the wonderful people that come with it. And since we care so much about hospitality, it's been important to us to always show people a good time while they're here.
So you're like a CMO as well.
Yeah, is Preacher a good client?
Yeah.
Is Preacher a good client?
Are you a good client?
Well,
Preacher.
But the Preacher has this internal creative director, Rob Baird, and he can be difficult. But he just has a high bar. And severely under budgeted. But besides that, they really care about the work.
Of course, the performance marketing for the clients is important.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that concept.
Yeah.
Preacher is a client this weekend.
Let's talk about South by and what's
Yeah.
going on and how many South bys that you've surrounded yourself in, and really what's going on this year surrounding. I know that it condensed, I believe, here.
Yep.
Can you talk a little bit about the importance of South by in Austin?
Well, I've probably personally been going to South by Southwest for about 20 years, maybe longer. And I don't know if you guys know this, but Preacher actually was born on South by Southwest 12 years ago. So we sort of had our big coming out party. So we also think of this week as kind of our birthday.
Incredible.
Yeah, we're like a preteen.
Why launch during South by?
It's just, again, when we knew that the whole world of advertising, production, creative community would be descending on our home, it felt like a good way to bring everybody into the story, bring everybody into the mix, and tell people what we were all about.
How much went into that launch? Knowing the DNA of Preacher and how important it is to you all, having Preacher as a client, doing Preacher's launch. Probably, I'm curious about that process.
Well, a lot more scrappy than it is today.
Yep.
We were at a different building downtown, and in fact, I don't even think, we didn't even have a lease signed at that building, but we were close to it, and we asked them if we could use it. So it was definitely not permitted. I don't think that there was like open electrical wires and stuff leaking from the roof, and we still kind of did our best, like ran around, totally DIY'd it, bought a bunch of stuff from, Home Depot and Target and threw it together. And it was crazy because we actually had some friends of Preacher, people that would come in town and were supportive of us, that were up there, helping us paint and staple and put it together. And for all these years now, we still have friends that don't work at Preacher that come help us, almost like one of my friends, Tom Webster, who's one of the most established and talented experiential executive producers and creative directors, doesn't work at Preacher. He'll basically come down here and PA whatever we need him to. And it's just, it's become this kind of family affair. So now, 12 years in, it's a huge production. I just walked over there and felt a little overwhelmed, like where and how can I even help? Because there's so many people building so many things. And if you haven't been to the Preacher party, it's like, it's almost like a creative carnival. All of our teams concept like conceptual experiential moments. And they're all quite stupid. Like, inherently they're just fun and dumb and meant to express the Preacher brand. But just to give you a taste of some of the stuff going on, I mean, we have a big setup called The Best Little S'more House in Texas, based off The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas, a Dolly Parton movie. As you can imagine, they will be serving s'mores.
Right.
Of course.
Right.
If tequila's more your thing, there's also going to be a ranch water fountain.
Wow. Yeah.
A giant, beautiful fountain.
Nice.
of life, really, of ranch
right,
water
right.
that will
It is
be
my
life.
This is
served
the
to
elixir of
Ranch
life.
water's my life.
you. You guys are familiar with our sort of tagline, spreading the good word.
Of course.
Somebody had the idea, and I think Rob Baird, our CCO, is a little mortified by this, but there will be a giant life-size bust of Rob Baird made out of butter.
Wow.
It's in the freezer right now.
Let's go.
And you will be able to sort of spread Rob Baird on toast.
He's the good
It's
word.
He's the good word.
Spreading Rob Baird on toast.
So, like, is it dumb or is it brilliant?
Of course.
I don't know. I'll let you decide. And then every year it's all new experiences, but there's one that we've been bringing back for several years now just because the people ask for it, and that's gospel karaoke. So we have a full gospel choir that will sing back up to you for a
that's
karaoke song, which really makes anyone sound good.
So this is a special interest of mine here
Yes.
is karaoke. From your experience, what has been the best song with the gospel choir backing it up? What's a good song selection for
Because
that?
it's a little nuanced. Because
Of course, it changes the dynamic
It changes the
completely.
dynamic because you can have a good karaoke song, but it's not necessarily the best karaoke song with a backup choir.
Yes.
That's true. I think in previous years I've definitely sang Beyonce.
But you're getting
It
up there?
might have been Texas Hold'em. Oh yes.
Good.
I'll get up there.
I love that.
Yeah.
You have to.
I'm not a good singer, but I'm a great performer.
Oh, good.
That's what
You
I
know,
say about myself as well.
And that's all it takes.
I'm an entertainer.
Yes, that's
It's-
right.
It's,
That's
I'm not.
right.
What do you
I'm
do?
show business,
Yeah,
baby.
yeah.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
are the tools that you'll deploy on stage for entertainment? Like, are you doing kicks? Are you flipping the mic? Are you doing mic grabs?
Crowd surf.
Yeah, I'll get on my knees if there's an emotional part of a song.
Right.
Okay.
I want to give good eye contact.
Yeah.
I want to have a sort of crescendo of energy. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I
You
get
guys,
it.
hey,
Yeah.
you two
Yeah.
get it.
Speaking my language,
Yeah.
totally get
Yeah.
that. We can share
Yeah.
notes after. I got a couple, I got a couple of things I've been workshopping I want to run past you.
But speaking of which, if you'll let me share, the musical guest is always kind of a big part of what happens at this party. And we've had some big names in the past. This year we're going for big energy and big vibes. So we have a guy named Jonathan Terrell, who's kind of like, I don't know, space cowboy. I can't really explain his music, but he's going to take us on a trip. And then we're going to have the Glenn David Andrews Band out of New Orleans, who's like Trombone Shorty's cousin, and they will probably bring the house down
Right.
and take the whole crowd through a second line. So I think it's going to be, I'm
big
not
time.
trying to,
I love
Give
the
anyone
New
FOMO.
Orleans. No, it's the New Orleans. That music just it hits different for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
The I guess the burning question: why go through all of this work?
because it's a blast. I don't know. We have so much fun doing it. And Preacher's always been about an exchange. If we get a lot out of our local community, we get a lot out of the greater creative and production community. And this is kind of when we give it back. And then we get given back that energy straight back to us at this party. I mean, it's a total love fest. It feels like kind of a reunion for a lot of folks. And the work that goes into it is bonding, everybody kind of just putting in some sweat and caring about what we're doing here. And it's probably one of my favorite times every year.
That's a cool
I
way
feel
to
like
say
you
it.
guys are always giving back, though. Like with the galleries that you're doing ongoing, like you're all like I feel like you respect the creative community so well. It's like not just at South by, like it's not the one gift that you guys are giving to people.
Thank you for saying
Good glaze, nice glaze, Jim.
I just spotted that. I wanted to
Yeah,
say that. Yeah.
That's really
it's-
sweet of
it's
you.
cool. That's
It's
very
really
sweet.
sweet
I
of
try my
you.
best.
That was pretty nice. Those
Well,
are nice moments.
It's a generous community, and sometimes I think, because of the business that we're in, it can get sort of jaded at times, but at its heart is really a bunch of creative talent who want purpose and want to do things and want to make special, want to manifest and create things that don't exist. And when you feed that community, whether they're like a paid employee of ours or just, folks out in the community at large, it always pays back tenfold.
For sure.
This is a good question by me right now that I'm about to ask.
I mean, let's
This
hear
is
it.
going to be
This
a
is
good.
why we do it.
This is
Yeah.
why we do it. Gear up, get ready. How do you draw the balance between having a very clear mission, spread the good word with your employees, but also not create like a toxic cult work environment where like people feel like they can't express themselves individually.
Great question, Jack.
That is a really great
Because
question.
yeah.
Well, and we probably walk the line sometimes because we use words like family, and I don't think you're supposed to use words like family at work anymore.
Yeah.
But we hear it play back to us. I think the difference between the kind of culture that we create now and probably the advertising culture I grew up in, that you might have even found more at the early days of Preacher, is just where the agency is your life. We don't want Preacher to be people's lives.
Yeah.
It's not good for creativity.
No, we want people to be out there living lives, and then, bring their best effort to the job at Preacher, bring their most creative ideas so that we can all work and bring things to life together.
So what are some of the things that you guys do to, like my old job, they would give us like a credit for like go take a class or go like here's like a museum of some sort. Like it was like $500 every year, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But like that's just one example. Like what are some of those things that you guys are doing to invest back in the employees so they can have personal lives or do try other things?
Yeah. We do something similar to that. We have a continuing education fund, and it's not like advertising education.
Yeah.
It's more like the farther away from advertising, the better. And so we have people using it to create, improv classes, creative writing classes. Like, people have used it to like blow glass or make music or all kinds of things. I mean, I don't really think people have to ask us for approval of their continued education request, but I don't think we've ever turned anything down.
Not yet.
Because
not
I
till-
think most
Someone's like,
I want a premium subscription to Breaking Entry Media.
This Bahamas trip I'm looking at would be a great education in snorkeling.
But
I
also,
mean, most people agree that like if you the flow of creativity can get stuck, and oftentimes the best way to unstuck it is to do something unrelated and creative.
dip out. Yeah. And also I think like this next generation, if you will, we don't have to do this conversation, but like I don't think they're buying into that anymore. Like where the work is their life anymore, whether it's Gen Z or Gen A. I think they're just like going into the workforce with more boundaries.
Yeah, I feel like more boundaries, and then also, but there's people that are just inherently creative and want to create things. On the other side, you have people that they don't really. The work is also kind of a part of their life because they enjoy it and it feels like they're being creative. But then it's like if they want to be better at their job inside the halls of the agency, they have to create stuff on their own. That also.
Yeah, I think so. And we try to provide outlets for creating things that have nothing to do with, the selling of things also
Like
at
this
the
event.
agency, like this event.
Yeah. Right.
And so, at the end of the day, we know that we live in a capitalist society. We know that we work in the advertising industry where we're trying to, bring business impact for our clients. We're trying to sell things. And that's very different than just, being a pure artist. And
Big time.
I recognize that. However, most of us we're not born rich, and most of us do have to make a living. And so I think everyone understands that when you come to work at a place like Preacher or another agency, you are there to get a paycheck, you are there to support your family, and in exchange, you are contributing your great talent and experience on behalf of our clients. Now, the issue is sometimes that can get really transactional.
Right.
And you're spending a lot of time with the people that you work with or the clients that you work with, and so we're going to at least try to make it be something that's challenging in the right way, that allows you to see the gratification of your ideas manifested in the right way, and allows you to kind of like go out into the world and be proud of the work that you do. I
think that's a pretty realistic view.
Wonderful.
Like that pretty much sums it up. I think that's
People need to hear that. People need
I know.
to hear that.
Well,
It's a job.
people right now, I think there's a lot of people that will probably watch this that are looking for ways to like how do you communicate to your teams in advertising and like
Yeah.
how do you push the team forward.
Play that on repeat.
Yeah, just play that on repeat.
Yeah.
Because it's people just want to be. They want like that's a realistic way to
Yeah.
speak about what the job is.
Yeah.
And it's like you're not trying to sell a life of like. Yes, you can come and be an
Yeah.
artist, and
Yeah,
but it's
no.
not realistic.
No, but also every once in a while, if you look back on what you were able to kind of accomplish or bring out into the world in the past year on behalf of one
Right.
of your clients, it's like, you lucky bastard. I mean, we all have to stop and pinch ourselves sometimes of like, we do get paid to do a job that compared to most jobs of the universe
Right.
are quite it's quite rewarding.
Yeah.
And if you're like me, and I think a lot of people out there, we want some semblance of stability and control, but we don't really want predictability.
Right.
And I love this career because you get to kind of go in every day and you don't really know what your day's going to look like.
You never know what's going to come through that door.
And that can be anxiety inducing.
Yeah.
Oops.
You can just hold
That can be anxiety inducing, or it can be a real source of energy, and it's your choice, you know?
Yeah, it's pick your own fortune. Well, listen, Krystle, appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah.
It's always a blast, and excited to see the preacher party. By the time this comes
Yep.
out, people will see it all. So
Awesome.
Appreciate
well,
you.
Thank you guys so much for having us.
Thank you.
Of course.
Always. Thank you.
see ya.
Wonderful.
Bye.
That was Krystle Loyland. Next up is Jorn Van Dijk, founder of Framer, Jack.
Yeah, tech guy. Tech guy. We got a tech guy. It's he is very interesting. He's from Amsterdam. He's been running Framer for the last decade plus. So it's interesting to talk with these tech founders, I feel like. And Jorn is fantastic.
He knows the brand and he's doing the right things. Like people, especially like the creative community, like I mentioned before, they're really interested in Framer. People want to build sites on it, and like it's competitive out there. And it seems like they're doing very, very well in that market.
Yeah, Framer again, they're clearly supportive of cool creative work.
Yeah.
If they're supporting and partnering with Breaking and Entering like they are right now. Let's get Jorn in here. We're gonna talk with him. We get into some dating advice, of course,
Yes.
naturally.
They're part of the show.
Always
Everybody was
part of the
waiting
show.
for.
Everyone was waiting for it. Let's bring in Jorn Van Dijk, founder of Framer. Here we are. Who are we here with?
My name's Jorn. Nice to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you too.
I'm the founder of Framer
Founder of this.
on the mics.
Look at that.
This is a big deal. Appreciate you supporting this content as well.
Thank you.
And,
Did you guys color that on it? That's not a sticker, right?
Yeah, we had a little bit. You'll appreciate this analog moment. The stickers, we had a little bit of an issue with the printout, but then fear not, because we just sharpied it in.
That's awesome.
So yeah, thoughts on that? I'm sure you're loving that.
All right. No, it looks good. I mean, I had to look twice. I'm like, it seems like someone penciled that in, but it looks good.
How do you feel about the logo? Do you like the Framer logo?
Absolutely.
Be careful what you say.
Absolutely. I like how this one is sharpied in.
Yeah, that's right. It's analog. So what are you up to? You're in South by Southwest. How are you feeling about it?
Pretty good. I've been coming here for a couple of years in a row, and I feel like it's getting better again. Especially like prior to the pandemic, I feel like it was smaller, and then it got bigger, and now it seems to be like a bit smaller again. I like that.
Yeah, for you, I mean, we have the brand marketing track on lock, but you obviously Framer tech company. So when you're coming here, give us some insight into what people are talking about in the tech world. Help us out. I don't know anything.
Yeah,
I know
yeah,
nothing.
this
You
is
know
awesome.
nothing? All right. Everyone in tech right now is obsessed with AI and how we can leverage that to get people to do more work or like more creative work. Especially in engineering in the last year, it's been upside down twice. So the way that engineers now work has dramatically changed from they're all writing code 100% all the time to maybe they're now writing 20% of all the code. I think that's about to happen to design and creative as well, where typically designers have full control over the website that they're making. And I think this year that's also going to change, where AI is going to be very helpful in getting people to do more meaningful work, because AI handles a lot of the sort of repetitive work that goes into designing something.
Okay. Well, hold on. Jorn, Gino's going to ask a question, and he noted that by raising his hand. So now Gino will ask a question.
For sure. Thank you. Thank you for calling on me. So with that, like with the AI and the design here, like what are the pros and cons of that potentially? Is a con being that they might lose control, maybe not get the exact output that they're looking for?
So that's for sure one problem. I think like you guys, I assume that you have played with AI yourself, and getting like the strong suit of it is that it gets you to 80% of a certain, you prompt something, it gets to 80% super fast, you're blown away by it, and then you get a little bit of like we call walkie-talkie problem, where you want to get it to 100%, but the more that you talk to the AI, the less good it seemingly seems to be, and so it slowly goes back to like 70%. Recognize that?
It's like you can't get to that final. Yeah. It's like we're close, but it feels like it's a battle.
And then I start getting angry sometimes.
You get frustrated.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like dating. Like you can get to the first date. You can get there, you can get to the second date, but locking in and getting all the way there to a committed relationship is the hardest part. It takes the most time.
I'm married for 10 years, so it's been a minute since I dated. But
do you have advice for Jack?
On how to date?
Yeah.
I also have a follow-up question as well.
What's the follow-up question?
Well, first I'll ask a follow-up question before we do the first question.
Advice on how to date?
Well, Framer's been around for like 10-ish years.
Correct.
You've been married for 10-ish years.
That's also correct.
I mean, that's a lot to balance.
That's terrible. Don't try to do both of those things at the same time. I also got 3 kids in the last 10 years, so it's like just layer that on top.
Which project has been the most rewarding?
Family company, like that's both of them.
You're like, man, when Framer got that first investment round, or my first kid being born, it's gotta be a tough one for you.
I had a friend call that out. Like at some point, I also got into jiu-jitsu, and he's like, yeah, sure, why not? Why not? Like you should also, why not rock climbing? Maybe jump out of an airplane. I'm like, yeah, maybe a point. Maybe just like not everything at the same time.
Yeah, not everything at the same time. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, well with AI and using it, like designers, I feel like on one hand, it can be that what we're talking about, that phenomenon, like getting to 80% of the way there. But then there's also the world where you can design a website and not need to like have a web developer. Like if you're someone that's creative in designing, I feel like this opportunity feels like it didn't exist before.
Well, I mean, with Framer, that is already a little bit of the case. So prior to Framer, I don't know if people know what it's for. It's a website builder for creating professional websites. It feels like a design tool where you just design the website and you click publish and it becomes a performant and fast website on the internet. That already like cuts out the sort of rebuilding that happened before that. So typically, before Framer, people would basically make a picture of a website, happy with the picture, now it needs to be made a real website, and that happens in some other platform. And so with Framer, that's already one and the same. And then with AI, what I think is happening there is just it accelerates how fast people can get to something that they like and want to riff on.
Interesting.
I guess like, what would you say is like the biggest misconception about Framer that you want the people to know about, or like something that that is not talked about often?
Oh, it's easy. So we launched 4 years ago, obviously with a limited scope of features. And so early on, like 3 or 4 years ago, people were using Framer to create smaller websites, like freelance websites or freelancers or smaller agencies, smaller startups. We are by now amazing at really large .coms. You can run websites with tens of thousands of pages, really large CMS collections, all of, maybe you guys know Miro, which is like a whiteboarding product. Like all of Miro.com runs on Framer. But sometimes the conception, marketing-wise, people go like, oh, Framer, that's for like the small sites, right? Yeah. It's like, yeah, well, try it again.
Try again.
Because do you think it's a big part of it is because of the playing field has been leveled a little bit with like advancements in technology? I don't know like how it all works. This is a good question because I don't understand how websites work. Like how come why is that a perception? Why do people feel like if you have a big .com, you need to run something that would be outside of like the Framer scope?
Well, it's a feature set that you need to sort of like. So if you want to manage a lot of content, typically what you need is a CMS. So it's a content management system. So let's say you run a website for a startup. The startup website has a blog. the blog needs new content every time. Every time you want to make new content, you're not going to design a whole new page. You design sort of a template for the blog content to live in. And then you want a content management system so that all you do is feed it new content and it renders new pages for you.
Okay.
And so building that out, but then with all the bells and whistles that people expect from a professional CMS, takes a little bit of time.
Yeah, you speak in my language because you know I manage the website.
Gino, yeah, I mean, it's...
And I'm not good at it.
You know, it's what's my sister used to, back in the day, this is probably 2004, she would make websites for people. Like, she was like a web developer, and she made some money on the side doing that.
That was legit. Now
Which is
anybody can
legit.
make websites.
Anybody, if you're like creative,
Yeah.
she got phased out, which, you know, she ended up, it was just a teenage thing, so.
Yeah, well, that's a smart. She's very entrepreneurial.
You're very entrepreneurial.
You are too. You are too. So am I.
And you're also from Amsterdam, and we want to talk about that because Amsterdam's awesome.
When are we going to get back to you dating?
Oh, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Wait.
Well, you just scheduled a date recently.
I don't know how much I want to
Oh.
reveal about
No?
that. That feels like HIPAA. You know, this is like...
Maybe not talk
Oh,
about it.
please. We talk about this all the time.
Jorn, what do you want to know?
How's it going?
It's going well.
Yeah?
You know?
How far are you?
There's hope today.
You
There's
wanted to
hope.
know like what it took to get to like 10 years, right?
Yeah, I did. I want to know how do you get there. You can explain it to me in business terms for Framer, but we'll all know that you're secretly talking about relationship advice.
That's rough. That's tough. I don't know where to start.
Well, it's all about trust, right? Like,
Wait, are you dating?
me? Oh, no, I'm hopeless. So I need advice too.
Okay, shit. Maybe we do a follow-up after this. We can go deep into like
We could do
I don't
that.
have anything for you guys.
I feel like it starts with trust. Gino's right. And how do you do that? You build a good team. When you're hiring, what are you looking for? Like, you probably have seen a bunch of resumes. People probably get pumped up.
Look at that. Like out of here, in there.
Yeah, that's right. But like, you probably have a ton of people that want to work at Framer. Framer is like a cool company, startup vibe, tech company.
For sure.
You probably see a lot of applications. What stands out?
Exactly. I honestly, exactly the last thing. Like, typically, I'm looking for something where you can see that someone went above and beyond what is reasonable to do, right? And so a lot of the work I feel that people do is on the safer side, right? Like, if you have clients, you want to please a client, so you make it in a certain way so that the client's happy. It could be good work, it can be okay work, it can be bad work. That's usually not the interesting stuff. The interesting stuff is finding something where it's easy to see, like, this person spent 2 weekends on this. There's no reason for that person to spend that much time on this one detail in this portfolio, but it's dope, right? And you only need like 1 or 2 of those to figure out if someone cares, right? Cares about the work and the quality of the work that they do. That's usually what I'm trying to look for. And it's pretty easy once you train yourself to do that. This is like portfolio, like, anything stand out? Like, why does it stand out? Okay, yeah, that's worth a conversation.
Yeah, because to be honest, I mean, even using the, like, when people use, you know, they create a website for their portfolio, it's kind of tough when you see, like, just the templated thing. Like, you can tell that they kind of just, like, did it templated and didn't put much further effort into it.
Yeah.
So, like, and when you're thinking about Framer, what's the balance between giving people inspiration with templates, but also letting people use it and be as customizable as they want?
I think templates are a great starting point, same as AI, to get you something usable fast. But the fun part is in Framer, I feel, is all of the web technology that we expose. So you can do like a lot of custom animations. There's a lot of like custom CSS stuff that you can do. We're working on shaders, which are like really awesome, like full screen sort of things that you can customize to get these really dramatic effects. And so the way that I look at that is we're trying to get the bulk of the work automated so that people can play with the stuff that makes it sort of like stand out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love it. I speak in my language.
Yeah, for sure.
We gotta get on this. And I guess to the people watching right now, we talk to advertising and marketing people, whether they're working in an ad agency or they're trying to get their first job at an ad agency. Like, knowing what you know, what can you tell our audience that will help them with their jobs?
I mean, I think for me, it would still be the same thing like 10 or 15 or 20 years ago. Like, try to do good, like dope work, right? And try to understand for yourself what that means, right? Because it's different for everyone. Like, if you want to get into fashion, try to figure out like your style. Like, what do you try to experiment with that, so that you can only stand out if you really go deep in a certain direction. So for digital designers, try to make a website, try to make it really good. Understand how hard it is to make a really good website, right? By going through that sort of creative process. And I guarantee you that if you focus on doing dope work, it will get picked up at some point, right? It's not a surprise that the best artists that we look up to, they are the ones that typically you get to steer the least, right? They just have this amazing collection of all this stuff that they made because they thought that was cool. That stands out and that gets them clients, right? Not because you did exactly what everyone asked you to do.
Taking some risk. I have a fascination with tech companies and what goes into like the speed of shipping features. And I wanted to ask you about this because I draw comparisons. Obviously, I think through the lens of like we make content. And so for me, it's like shipping a feature is the equivalent of us like adding a new graphic or coming up with a new fun idea for a video. How do you balance shipping features really fast while also making sure that like the quality remains?
So the way that we think about that is we kind of like have 3 buckets of work that always need to happen simultaneously. The first one is like quality and the performance of the sites that people ship, the editor, the infrastructure. So there's a whole team dedicated to that, right? Like, we rolled out our own hosting. Now hosting is fast in this region, that region. Like this is top of mind for a professional website platform like ours. The second bucket, like 2/3 of the work, is just figuring out what customers want the most, and then build that, right? And so this is not hard. You can make a roadmap. You can get people to vote on what they want the most, and typically it's just like take those things off the board, give people what they are asking for in the platform next. And then the last bucket is outsized bets that we think will change the trajectory of the company a little bit. So right now, that's obviously, I think for every startup, people are trying to figure out how to leverage AI to get more people successful in the product, and it's true for us as well.
You do a good job of making it sound much more simpler than it is,
Thank
Jorn.
you. Thanks.
I think I do the opposite. I think I try to make things sound more complicated so that people think that I'm smart. And that's an insecurity that I'm working through in my relationships as well.
You guys are the judge of that.
Anything else from you, Gino?
No, I think that was amazing.
Jorn, appreciate you. Appreciate Framer.
Likewise, guys.
Appreciate you stepping into the Thunderdome.
All right, the Thunderdome.
Thanks for the time.
Of course. Boom.
Did you get that tattoo here?
That was Jorn. Next up is Jay Russell, the Chief Creative Officer of GSD&M. What do you say about that, Jack?
Jay's great. We've interviewed Jay before. He's a recurring guest. He's the CCO of GSD&M, which is the oldest Austin agency, the biggest Austin ad agency. And
it's interesting. He's been going to South by Southwest since 1996 when it was like a block. It was like $20 to get in. So he's seen the evolution of it, and we touch upon that in this interview.
Yeah, it's kind of, his answer is kind of surprising. It's not really what you'd expect from someone who's been able to see the early beginnings of South by Southwest when it was objectively probably like the most fun, probably the best. So let's get him in here. Jay Russell, CCO, GSD&M, to close out the Breaking and Entering show live from South by Southwest, presented by Framer. Jay.
There you go. That's it. That's my song. It's Willie Nelson's guitar.
You're damn right. That's correct.
It is not.
Confirmed.
Guitar name?
Could be Trigger.
Trigger. Yeah.
Trigger.
You seen Willie Nelson recently?
I see him every time I can because it's going to be his last show.
Right.
Everyone. So like I've been doing that for like last 10 years because I'm like, this is going to be his last show.
Until it's not.
He just doesn't die.
Yeah,
I'm like, God damn it, he played again. Now I can't say I was at his last show.
Dang it. So
I mean,
you're praying on his downfall.
Yeah.
A little bit.
100%. Did you see Willie's last show?
Yeah.
That's about the only credit I could have.
I know. You would think he'd be a little bit more selfless.
Yes, he's not.
Whatever.
Whatever.
Are we good to go?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Who we here with?
Oh, me. Jay Russell.
Jay, good to see you.
The CCO of GSD&M, Jack.
Yeah, it's a big deal. You were at our happy hour yesterday. Thoughts? How do you think it went? Post-game interview.
That's why I'm tired. That's why I'm not as talkative today. It was great. It was good. I went early so I could actually talk to people. And I predicted it would be a big crowd, and it sounds like it was.
Yeah.
And I did shots with apparently both of you.
Yeah, there's some shots going around. Of course. In the grand scheme of South by Southwest parties, where would you put that percentile-wise?
Well, it was the only one I've been to so far this year.
Oh, okay, great.
So I'd say 100%, the very top. You picked good locations, Arnold Studios and Flower Shop. I mean,
yeah, shout out to the
legit.
Collins crew letting us hang out here, and then shout out to Framer as well. Framer is sponsoring this.
All right.
Shout out Framer.
Framer.
Shout out Jay. let's get to talking.
All right.
Let's get to it. What's been going on in your world? What are you excited about these days?
Oh my God, I didn't know we were going to talk about this.
No,
what
whatever
am I
you want.
excited about this?
You can
In general.
In life?
Yeah.
Or work?
Either one.
Okay. Life. What am I excited about? South by. It's like things are good. Haven't lost any clients.
Yeah.
Winning new business. Like life's good. I don't know. It's 80 degrees out. It's
Yeah,
like perfect.
you
This is
see-
like a transitional time in Austin. People come down here and they're like, "Oh my God, we're moving to Austin." I'm like, "Wait a month."
Right.
Right.
It gets pretty hot.
Yeah.
Well, you were saying right before we started that you are living in Austin. You are like, oh, South by Southwest, but then you get in it and you're like, oh, I like this.
It's like the worst until like, oh God, South by's coming. Oh God, it's so crowded. But and then you're like one beer and you're like, I fucking love South by. You just forget how awesome it is. You kind of, and you fall back in love with the city.
How many South bys have you been a part of now?
96 was the first one I went to.
Wow.
When I was 3. I'm kidding. It used to be just on 6th Street, little block, and they had a stage at one end and a stage at the other. And it was $20 for a wristband for 3 days.
Do you feel a responsibility to be the person that's like, you guys don't understand how cool it was?
Oh yeah,
Of course.
of course.
Yeah.
You guys don't get it.
Do you feel
You guys
like
weren't even born. Wait, you weren't?
No.
No, you actually weren't.
no, 97?
No, man. The city's like, everyone complains that the city's growing and changing, and like, I love it. I grew up in St. Louis. It's a dying city. Like, go live in a city that's dying,
Yeah.
and then then come bitch about the growth. Like, it's awesome. We have restaurants. We have like podcasts. Yeah,
Yeah, right.
Do you feel accountable for the growth of South by Southwest?
100%. I mean,
Thanks a lot, Jay.
you're welcome.
That's a big reason why we came.
God, no.
No,
Jay.
literally. No, truly. I mean,
Used to be J by SJ.
Jay by Jay West.
J by J West. No, it's fun, man. It's like, it's good to see it kind of start to get back to its roots in terms of, it used to just be music, and there was music and film, and then it was music and film, and like, we kind of ruined it.
Yeah.
And then that's kind of like a little bit quieter,
Right.
So it seems like it's getting back to the roots of music, and like a lot less agencies sending people down to like so it's good. It's like the people that are here are people you kind of want to be with,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, are you go ahead, Gino. Sorry, we stumbled through that.
I was going to ask, like, what's GSD&M's role in South by Southwest? Historically, today?
It's funny because, that place has been around before since 1973, I don't know, before I was born. So it's grown up with the city and vice versa. So I think it's, I don't know, the GSD&M is always like, sort of like, I think there's been since well before I was there, they've sort of had a stewardship over a lot of the cultural things in Austin. And so, yeah, we know, I mean, the connections that place has with South by run pretty deep. So I'm surprised you guys found this place or got it. This is a classic place. You are in like this is like some serious Austin music history.
Yeah, do you? I mean, I think that in the studio that we're at right now, I don't know exactly. I think Sublime.
Santeria. Recorded it here.
What is it? How does that go?
I don't practice Santeria.
I can play it for you.
Yeah,
got
let's
it?
get it going.
No,
Oh,
Jay
Jay!
does that. Can't do it. I
You
do it all the
can't
time.
do that.
What do we call
I do it
that?
all the
The
Little
J
T
fake.
guys, the J
The
fake,
line.
the J
The J
fake,
fake.
the J
The
fake,
J fake.
the J action.
J Perbole,
Get it?
J fake.
You
there's
get
a lot.
J like play action, but J action. That's
G-Shock.
good.
G-Shock.
How about I mean I feel like Austin agencies, we were here, we visited, we toured, and you're seeing a lot of really cool stuff come out and like advertising, and more so things that feel feel like more new age.
Yeah.
You know, when you think about like social and making things that are just entertaining, first and foremost. Are you noticing that within Austin?
And and it's sort of like you probably saw last night. I mean, down here, it's like I think the Austin, and we've talked about it before, the community is just different. Like before, I literally when I was sitting out there, I was like texting Rob Barrett, a preacher, and he's like, "You coming to the party? Where are you?" I'm like, "Yeah." So we all just kind of like work together, and it's like it's much of a cultural. I don't think of it like, oh, there's an agency. It just feels like a community of South by type people, artists and musicians, and I don't know, just a lot of good culture. And so it all, what was the question?
Yeah, I don't know.
I told you, I warned you I was coming in hot.
Shout out Lone Star.
Like,
Shout out Lone Star.
2:30, I'm like, oh my God, that's already after a couple Bloody Marys and stuff. But,
how do you go back to work on Monday? Or like, I guess you
Monday.
don't. Yeah,
no, this is like, South by is great because it's an unofficial like week off. You know what I mean? It's like,
best.
Where are you? I'm going to do a podcast. Oh, that's work. Yeah, it's work.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
It's hard work too. I'm gonna ask a hard question.
Okay.
Tell me
Ooh.
about the
Oh, no.
GSD&M party.
Oh,
Now that's a hard
big.
question.
It's funny because it's all of our like recruiting money, all of our like it goes to this party because it's like, oh my God, it's awesome and awful because there's nothing better or worse than 5,000 advertising people in the same backyard.
I like that.
I mean, it's true.
I
It's
like that.
Super fun, like, but also like, oh my God, shoot me. But mostly like, no, mostly that. No, I'm just kidding. So it's great, you know, like you run into like everybody I've been doing this long enough where you know people all over the country and it's like, they're all there. And so it's just great to see everybody again. And then, you know,
What type of vibe are you trying to curate though? Like, what do you're the
what
CCO.
vibe you
you're
bring to the
you're
function?
the vibe curator.
Nothing. I just like follow. That's the thing. Austin doesn't like you don't create a vibe. It's just kind of.
Yeah, you don't want to try too hard.
Yeah,
And you like?
That's
Do you
some
also?
good
I
advice.
feel like you get to this, the C-suite title, and it's more about you're more about you gotta just get out of the way.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I leave kind of early. Here's the deal. As soon as one junior comes in, they're like, you know what we need? I'm like, oh no, tell me what we need. What do we need?
Oh hell
Tell me what we need.
Yeah.
We need money from me. I'm like, all right, we'll talk. And then always the next day, there's one kid will come in and be like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, for what? Let's talk about it. Let's unpack this. What are you sorry about?
Right.
I asked for Dr. Pepper in the soda machines instead of Mr. Pibb. And I'm like, it's okay. It's good.
Everything's gonna be okay.
It's gonna be
But
okay.
I can totally get that. Honestly, I hadn't thought about that. The idea of, being everyone can relate to the idea of going to like a work party and being so terrified that you're going to be the one that embarrasses themselves.
Yeah.
Forgot about that feeling.
Yeah.
We don't have that.
No.
I like to I leave early for I don't like, oh my God, I was 21 and had a boss and the last thing I wanted to do was drink with them. Mm-hmm. So I'll go early and then I'll bye, have fun. I don't want to be that guy.
Do you think they have more fun when you leave?
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. I hope.
Yeah.
I mean,
you're a good leader. This is just a good leader.
This is
for leaving. Get fucked up. Y'all get fucked up. Have a good time.
Yeah, just do it.
Jay's a hell of a leader.
Yeah.
Jay does it again. That's what they say.
He did it again.
That self-awareness is important, though.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like that is a big part of it.
Yeah, nobody wants to hang out with their boss ever, right? I mean, who does?
Right,
I mean,
Ellie, do you
guys
wanna
hanging out with them?
Yeah.
Look, are you sober? Are you sober right now?
Yeah.
See, if
Yeah.
you were gone, she'd be shit-faced.
Yeah, 100%.
I was gonna say literally me last night at the party, me dancing my face off,
Yeah.
and then waking up this morning.
Two-stepping. Can't see her, but she's two-stepping. She learned how to two-step.
No, but I mean, the self-awareness thing is important. I think we hear it all the time from people. The industry, advertising needs some self-awareness.
Yeah. It's an industry of this young woman that you can't see over here. I'll introduce her as not what I introduced her as last night. We can cut all that. But she, who you can't see, is a lawyer, and she's like, your industry, she's like, it's advertising. I'm like, I know. She's like, why? It's this is ridiculous. Why all these? It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah,
why is it?
You're going on a podcast to
what
talk
is happening?
about.
But all of it, it's I guess my point for that is egos, really, and just settle down. You know what I mean? And it's we always make fun of the outfits, right, that people wear in the industry, and I had a buddy who's like, you can tell how good a creative is by their shoes. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, they're
zooming on the shoes.
they're either like, he's like, they're either just like stupid sneakers or like, you know, gold encrusted Chuck Taylors like that are, and it's like generally the more insecure they are, like the stupider their shoes are. So I'm clearly in the middle with sneakers with gold, but they have gold around the edge.
Yeah,
I straddle the line.
You are not.
I straddle the line.
You are not guilty. I mean, those are cool shoes.
Yeah.
I mean, mine are definitely cooler, but
yours are New York.
Look at these.
They're out the socks, man.
What are these? Would I be a good? Look, if these shoes,
Those
let's do an
are
assessment.
tigers, aren't they?
Would I be a? Would you say I'm a good or bad if I was a creative?
You're fine.
Right down the middle.
Right down the wall, right down the middle here, man.
Yeah, truly.
That's why we all get along.
Hell yeah.
Is there anything else?
I had a
Anything
really
else?
good question. I thought of. What's it like after South by Southwest? Like, a lot of people leave, go back to their cities, go back to their hometowns, wherever they're at. But you guys are still here. What's it like?
Oh my God, it's nice. It's like just to like, oh God, we made it through another one. You're so beat down by all of it, but yeah, it's nice to get back to, you know, it's like holidays. It's like, you guys have been to holidays. It's like, it's fun, and then you're like exhausted, and you're like, oh God, finally I can like, you know, just relax and not, I can get coffee without 5,000 people in line. It's fun.
Is there anything that's happened in making and putting together the parties where there was like a disaster or some sort, like something you didn't think you're gonna actually get through the party?
Oh, I mean, yeah, like all the time. Like we've had massive musicians like cancel at the last minute and have like shuffle around, or like last year, like Tita's, the vodka didn't show up until like, I mean, there's all that shit, right?
Yeah.
God
like,
forbid.
These are the big things. Oh my God, we didn't have alcohol. It was like fucking meltdown.
Yeah, the biggest
The
disaster.
worst.
Yes.
Yeah, I can imagine though. It's such a big production. It's like
Who are some of the big headliners that you guys have had in the
No,
past?
I can't
the ones that did show up.
No, I literally can't think of anything.
I'll put you on the spot.
Oh my God, like I honestly can't think of a single band. Big ones. Well, my favorite, like I'll get bands that I like and weasel them in that you won't have heard of, like Bash and Pop, who was in the Replacements, and old people like the Replacements, so I made them come. Hold Steady, like I like Minneapolis bands, so I've had a lot of those, and then we'll have bigger, kind of like, you know, Willie's son, Lucas Nelson came, Charlie Crockett, a lot of like.
Oh, nice.
Like
Oh, nice.
yeah,
Charlie Crockett's a big deal.
Yeah, he
I
was
like it.
last year, I think.
Oh, that's
last year.
cool.
Yeah, and we had a music guy who like we tend to we're enough in the Austin scene where like our guy will be like, this band's gonna be giant next year.
Right.
And it happens, and he's
Yeah.
always right.
Ellie has a question.
Oh, Ellie. Yes, man.
Wait, hold on. We have to,
It's about
we have to make
two-stepping.
No, it's not about
you can
two.
do-
I know how to do that now.
Okay, yes, you're a pro.
Did you have a Lizzo story? Was
Oh my God.
Nice, Ellie.
I had a lizard story. So after our party, we also have a good memory. We also have like a Bloody Mary Thursday, and like we'll have these little events like throughout the week. And I'm walking like out of our back door, which is like the main entrance for the employees. And there was like, I was trying to get out, and there's this woman, this big woman in a like bathing suit, and I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, what is this? Hey, some homeless person like is like, something's happening. I can't get out. And like, there's some woman, the stage is over there, but she's running around singing. And I'm like, oh my God, I was so put out. And I'm like, excuse me. And I just walked out. And then like, come to find like, you know, 3 years later, I'm like, wait a minute, who was that one? Like, that was Lizzo. I'm like, can you check? Was it actually Lizzo? She's like, yeah, she was like, there were like 5 people watching her like galloping around in a red bathing suit. Again, I'm always like, I never am aware anytime there's something big. I saw Nirvana and walked out because I didn't know they were Nirvana. I'm like, this band sucks, and I walked out.
That sucked. That's kind of a flex, though.
But they did.
That's kind of a
sucked.
flex.
It was at the Rhythm Room, and I'm like, this band is horrible. It was before like the Bleach tour. I'm like, they're awful.
That's a flex, though, because people will say that now. They're
They
like,
sucked.
Nirvana wasn't that
They
good.
did suck. But it was before like all the albums.
Right,
And
right.
Lizzo, Nirvana and Lizzo, you know, same thing.
Yeah, I can't believe, Jay, you need to have it. Someone needs to let you know, though, ahead of time that, like, we have a performer coming. We have a performance.
Well, it was a Monday, and like Lizzo wasn't Lizzo. It was like they just have. I mean, you walk around, there's like a million Lizzos right now that you don't.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing. There's a
Up and coming
They're gonna be
artists.
famous. Like
Right.
half the people in that room right there, behind you. There's a
Yeah.
room behind them.
There's a room behind us.
Yes.
Well, hey, we'll find out. We'll find them. We'll discover them. But it's amazing. Well, Jay, thanks so much for stopping in.
Always a pleasure.
Appreciate you.
Always a pleasure. See you, Cam.
See you.
We'll save that for another time. That'll be the next story.
Yeah, perfect.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. That was Jay. Jay by Jay West, always a pleasure, and that's the show. I mean, what a lineup. If you didn't go to South by Southwest, just watch this show, and you've got everything that you need. Presented by Framer. Shout out to Framer again. Any closing remarks?
No, I had a good time. Are you going to come back to South by Southwest, Jack?
I would love to. It is, I have a disdain for most marketing conferences, I would say, because of exactly what you'd expect, where it's like people talking on a panel and they kind of just say the things that you would expect them to say, and we talk about the same stuff. But what South by does well is, of course, the city gets taken over, but they allow the rest of the city outside of it to be like a place for satellite hangouts and getting all these people together. Because that's why you come to something like this, is to just see all the people that you want to see.
Yeah, yeah. I agree, Jack. And well said.
Thanks. Well, hope you all enjoyed the show. We are back again tomorrow. Breaking and Entering live show, 11 a.m. on LinkedIn, X, and YouTube. Follow along, Breaking and Entering Media. Thanks for sticking around, and we'll see you tomorrow.